what is the purpose of a CORI?
Okay, the CORI stands for the Criminal Offender Record Information, and it was developed in the 1970s by the state, and it was really created for law enforcement agencies to be able to share information between each other. But since then, it's become opened up to employers, housing authorities, training agencies, educational institutions, and now is used to screen individuals out from economic opportunities who might have past criminal records.
How is CORI affecting your future?
In a big way, because it not only affects my future, but I have two sons who are incarcerated, and they're in New Hampshire, and I cannot visit them because I have a CORI.
All right, I was falsely accused of a crime, and I was prosecuted on that crime based on my CORI, which itself is flawed. I have some entries on my CORI of crime that I never committed, but it's there. I have aliases. I don't even know how I got there. And essentially what happened was I was put out the Army after 14 years because of my CORI. All right? They ran my CORI. They saw all these crimes that I didn't commit, and when I tried to explain it, they didn't believe me. Thus ended my career in the Army.
The United States criminal justice policy has become more harsh. There's an idea called tough on crime, and it's really led to a lot more people being incarcerated, particularly people of color. And connected with that is this fear that urban people are dangerous, and so in some levels the CORI system has expanded significantly, kind of in response to this political fear that's been put out there.
What are some of the problems with it?
Well, once you've served your time, your record is open for 15 years for a felony, for 10 years for a misdemeanor.
However, if one reoffends any time within that 10 and 15-year period, the process starts all over again.
And it becomes very difficult to get jobs, it becomes very difficult to get housing when you have that record. Because one of the things on most application forms is a check the box. Do you have any criminal record? And once you check that box when you apply for a job,
it's almost guaranteed that no call back will come. And I even know people who've been hired and in the interim waiting on the CORI to come back, and after the CORI comes back to be let go of a job.
My CORI pretty much sent me to prison, all right, based on the false allegation. So when the judge looked at my CORI with the false allegations on there, knowing that they were false, but still used against me to do prison time.
You know, we're putting more and more people in jail, and I'm not saying that's good or bad, but once they've done the crime, once they've served their time for doing that crime, then it's part of our responsibility to see that they are able to regain their status of independent, productive human beings, and that's what this bill is about.
What changes do you want made on CORIs?
3 years on a misdemeanor and 7 years on a felony, and it's a long time, but I think it's more reasonable than where we're at now with the 10 and 15. So I would like to see that happen, and I would like to see the box removed from the application, and then the CORI done once there's a promise of a job. And if the CORI has nothing to do with the job or the position, I don't see where it should be a factor.
I hope also people are beginning to realize that we're not soft on crime in this bill. That's not what we're trying to reform CORI about. It's not that we're soft on crime.
If this is not passed or enforced in like a timely fashion, what's your next step?
Well, we'll continue to push for CORI reform at the state level. We think that, ultimately it is one of the key things that needs to be done to increase access for those with past records.
Until they fix their own problems, we're going to always have this, and you're going to have individuals like me fighting the system. And we're going to continue fighting the system until they get it right.
Can you tell us a little bit about the progress you've made in your efforts for reform?
In January of 2008, we were able to help pass a CORI Reform executive order signed by Governor Deval Patrick. And that came out of a lot of work we had with our office, Governor Patrick campaigned on the issue of CORI Reform, and that was one step that we asked him to take to help make some changes, and that's actually had some really serious effects across the Commonwealth. So really we're on a short timeline. We've been working on this issue for over 4 years. There are other groups that have been working on it for longer. People, Councilor Turner was working on this in 2001. And we think that it's about time. And as you saw at the last press conference, we had the governor's people, we had the mayor, we had our coalition, hundreds of people coming out to support this effort. And, you know, if not now, then when?
A healthy CORI system will allow families to be happy again.
With all the talk about CORI and stuff in Massachusetts, the consequences are very real, and they seem to be getting worse.
By fixing the CORI system, right, you'll allow individuals to, one, generate money for their families. Two, the kids of these families will see that their parents are role models, thus they'll want to do good by going to school, getting jobs themselves and staying out of trouble, because then they'll see how hard it is to undo an injustice once you get caught up in the system.